Hello and welcome back to the Building Your Brand podcast. And I thought that this week I would do a debrief of Atomicon because I just got back yesterday. I was speaking at it and I thought I would share my experience of it with you while it was still fresh in my mind. Now, the podcasting gods are against me because right when I decided that I was going to record this episode, my neighbours decided it would be a good time to knock a wall down. So if you hear the odd banging noise, I apologise, but I'm going to plough on through anyway and hope for the best. So yeah, 3 years ago, I went to Atomicon for the first time with my friend Hannah, and we had seen friends of ours who had gone. It looked really fun. We thought we'd check it out, and it was a really, really incredible experience. We both loved it, and we both said when we went that first time that we would love to speak at it one day. And both of us have been working on our public speaking. It's something that we've both wanted to do more, and both of us have got to speak at some really cool events. I've spoken at Adobe Max London and Adobe Max LA. Hannah last year spoke at Social Media Cymru. It's got Social Media Conference Cymru. Anyway, whatever the name is, she did an incredible talk at that last year. And so, yeah, we were really excited about speaking at Atomicon this year. We both pitched. Hannah got chosen to speak by Andrew and Pete, which was amazing, and she was so excited and I was so happy for her. And then a few months later, Adobe got in touch with me and they were sponsoring the event, and so they asked if I would do the speaker slot for them. So part of their sponsorship package was they had a speaking slot on the main stage and they asked me to do it. And so obviously I said yes and was very excited about it. And it was so nice that having gone together 3 years ago, and we went last year as well, that this year we were able to go again together and speak for the first time for both of us and just cheer each other on. And when it was all sort of like confirmed and we knew that we were both speaking, I sent an email to Andrew and Pete being like, please, 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 can you not schedule us at the same time? Because we just really want to be able to go to each other's talks. So they were very kindly accommodated that and they put us on at different slots. So if you haven't been to Atomicon before, it's a marketing conference aimed at small businesses and it's based in Newcastle. Next year it's actually moving to Manchester, which is quite big news. But yeah, it's been in Newcastle since it started, and it's in a venue called the Glass House, which is very big. And the sort of structure of the day is that in the morning everyone's in this big room together in the sort of like main stage room, I don't know what you call it. I think it seats about 1,600. It's absolutely packed, everyone's in there together. Andrew and Pete do their sort of welcome section, they do a talk, and then there's usually two keynotes, and then for the rest of the day everybody splits up and goes to different sessions. So I think there's like 5 slots, all the talks are half an hour each, and there's 4 speakers, like 4 different sessions running at the same time in those slots, so people can choose which talk that they want to go to. I was very grateful that I was in the first slot, so that was at like 11:30, so I was able to get my talk done quite early in the day and then enjoy the rest of the day. And then I think Hannah's session was at 2:30, so I did my talk, went to another talk, and then went to hers, and yeah, was able to sit in the front row and cheer her on, and she did an absolutely phenomenal job. And this is like a big conference. Andrew and Pete are very selective about who they have to speak. They curate the sort of lineup very, very carefully. And I had such a good time listening to the other talks. Like, I really enjoyed them. Like, there's always going to be some that I'm drawn to more than others. One of the standout ones for me was Saf Mohammed this year, who spoke about YouTube. I think probably part of that is because YouTube is a focus for me at the moment and it's something that I'm working on. But he was like a total natural on stage. He shared some really, really brilliant tips that I am definitely going to implement. And yeah, that was really good. And Hannah was absolutely brilliant. Her session was so good. She was a total natural. I mean, she is a total natural at public speaking. I say natural, she works very hard at it. I was having a conversation with Charlotte, who we've both done speaker coaching with, and she was actually saying that she finds it really frustrating when people say, oh, you're such a natural, because actually Like that's never the case. If someone appears really natural on stage, it's usually because they've done a lot of work to get to that point. So little tangent there. But yeah, so for my session, it's interesting. As I've done sort of more and more public speaking, I was starting to kind of like see the patterns of how like I process the nerves and how I work through it. And what tends to happen is that I really feel the nerves the few days in the lead up. I tend to have a couple of bad nights sleep, worrying about it. And then on the day, thankfully, I tend to be quite chilled. And actually, the event staff behind the scenes commented on how like relaxed and not nervous I was just before I went on stage, which was really nice that they noticed. But yeah, so I went to the keynotes in the morning, and then when they'd finished, I went to the green room, got myself ready, went and just had a little wander across the stage before everybody started coming in. Got mic'd up, got my clicker and everything. There was a little bit of chaos backstage because the video, like there was an intro video like for me that was pre-recorded and it started playing earlier than it should have done. So not everybody had come in for the session. So I had to just quickly get onto stage and get started. But yeah, I'm really proud of how it went. I mean, there's always room for improvement. There's like, I've got some notes for myself of things that I would do better. And next week I will be chatting to Charlotte and my friend Paul, who was there, and getting some feedback from them. And there's, you know, there's always things to work on. But on the whole, I'm just so proud of how it went. It was a big stage. This was not an insignificant thing for me to do. Like, it felt like a very big deal. Like I said, this is a very big and well curated conference. This is not the sort of place that you speak for your first ever time. So yeah, I'm really proud of how it went. And as I said, my slot was like a sponsored slot by Adobe. Predominantly, it was me sharing my story of how this podcast has made me money, how it's impacted my business, increased my like visibility and my network. And then I was sharing a tool from Adobe. So they were sponsoring it through Acrobat. Last year, they sponsored it with Adobe Express. This year, it was Acrobat. And so I shared a bit of a workflow that I've been using to repurpose content for this podcast using PDF spaces. I actually think it's really, really cool and so helpful for small business owners. So I think what I'm going to do is next week record a YouTube video showing how I'm using PDF spaces for my podcast, because yeah, people seemed really interested in it and they went and checked out the booth and they could have a play around with PDF spaces. And I think there's a lot of interesting use cases like that businesses could use across all different areas of their business if they are really creative with it. So I'll do a video about that and get that up next week so that you can kind of like check that aspect of it out. But yeah, it was a really great day. It was so nice to go on stage and see so many smiley faces. Like the audience has just got such a good vibe. And then obviously having been quite a few years and just, you know, I guess knowing people in marketing in the UK, there was a lot of friendly faces in the audience. It was just so nice to like look out and see everybody. I mentioned earlier that I've worked with Charlotte, who's been on the podcast. She's helped me with my public speaking, and this was the first time that she ever got to see me speak in person. So that was really, really cool. And it was just so nice to be on stage and to look up and see her smiling face. And yeah, everyone was just so encouraging and supportive. And I had really lovely feedback from my talk, lots of people tagging me and sharing it. So yeah, that was a real buzz on the day. And I got to have lots of really great conversations with people. And honestly, chatting about my podcast is like one of my favorite things to do. So it was an absolute dream for me. And so many people told me that it either inspired them to start a podcast or it inspired them to sort of bring back maybe like a podcast that they already had, but they haven't been releasing episodes. And so they were going to sort of like re-invitalize it. Is that the right word? Re-invitalize? But yeah, so that was really, really cool. And always nice to see like what the impact is of what you're sharing. So the day was absolutely incredible. Such a buzz. It took me, like, I think it will take me a few days just to sort of like process everything. I mean, this is helping just talking through it now. But yeah, processing it all, I think it'll be good to do a bit of reflecting on, you know, what are the things I need to improve and work on. One of the things that I was really happy about is something that I typically struggle with public speaking is when I go on stage, I get very excited. And also there's like nerves in there as well. Although I didn't feel nervous, but I know that there will have been nerves in there as well. But what happens is because I'm excited, I talk really fast and then I almost like forget to breathe and I get really out of breath. But what I'm really happy about is that on the day, even though that had been happening in rehearsals, I don't like I didn't feel like that at all. And I felt like I managed to keep like a decent pace. I did run over by like 2 minutes, but I think that's not too bad. So that's very unusual for me. Normally I come under because I speak so fast when I get excited. But so I ran over by 2 minutes, but yeah, I'm really, really proud. And I'm trying really hard not to just like rush on to the next thing, but to take time to just like acknowledge that I just did a really big thing. I just spoke at a really big conference in the UK, and take the time to be proud of myself and what I've achieved, having gone from going 3 years ago and thinking, oh, I would love to speak here, to then actually doing it. And it was hilariously, the day after I got back, they announced the speakers for Adobe Max Miami. So the website went live and I am doing 2 sessions. And so it was really hard not to just like move on to the next thing and be like, look at this next cool thing that I'm doing. I mean, obviously I did tell people, I did an Instagram story, but I'm going to try and sort of sit with this achievement, not rush past it, and just move on to the next thing and just feel really pleased with myself. And yeah, I'm going to make some content about it. I did want to do a vlog and I absolutely failed at that. One of the things that I've realized is that I'm very over ambitious about how much content I can make at these events, especially if I'm speaking, because when I'm speaking I feel like I'm just in the zone of like getting that talk done and doing a really good job. And so actually creating a lot of content as well is very difficult. So I probably need to manage my expectations on that. So I wanted to do a vlog, all the behind the scenes of what it was like speaking, but I didn't manage this. So this debrief will kind of have to do. And if you went, I'd love to hear how you found the day. If you have not been before, I would massively recommend going. It's a really brilliant conference. They have actually announced that they're moving to Manchester next year, so it'll be in a bigger venue, but they've announced the dates. And actually, if you get your ticket this week, it's like the cheapest the tickets will ever be. So get your ticket now. I'm going to share my affiliate link in the show notes and underneath the YouTube video. And one of the things that they do, which is really brilliant, is that you can get a full refund, no questions asked. I think it's up until about February next year. So you can get your ticket now at the best price, and then you can make a decision close to the time as to whether you're actually going to go. You can also switch between like a virtual ticket and an in-person ticket like really easily. So if your plans change, but you still want access to all of the talks, which are live streamed, then that isn't a problem at all. So yeah, I would definitely recommend going next year. I've already got my ticket. I'm going to go. Hannah's going as well. We're going to have a great time. I've not been to Manchester since I was 15, so I'm really looking forward to going and exploring the city. And yeah, that is my sort of roundup debrief of Atomicon. I had lots of great chats with people after the event and I was absolutely buzzing, and I'm just so proud of Hannah as well. She did an incredible job, and just so grateful to all the friends that came and supported me, especially like my friend Phil, who definitely needs to have a shout out and who's been on the podcast as well. He flew over from Barcelona for 24 hours to come and support me and be in the audience, and that was really, really cool. So yeah, if you've got any questions, then drop me a message on Instagram where I'm at Liz M. Mosley or at Building Your Brand Podcast, or if you're watching this on YouTube, then just comment under the video and I'll make sure I'll get back to you. And I'm very happy to give my honest thoughts and opinions on any questions that you have.